hold on one second. I have an email. It's from a company that I applied to. And it's a rejection email. I mean, at least they responded. Am I right? So here is the situation that I'm sure all of us are currently familiar with. It is impossible to find a job right now. I've started looking for a job since April of 2024. It is August 2024, and I'm losing my goddamn mind. I started out applying to places that seemed like I was a good match for, except that was quite difficult considering that every place requires you to have a minimum 10 years of experience. Some places don't even allow you to have internship experience. Amazon. And after months of little to no responses, rejection emails galore, and just the worst job offers I've ever seen in my entire life, I just apply anywhere. Like, not even if I'm qualified, I just good communication skills, but it's a plumbing job, I'm applying. Do I know anything about plumbing? No, but I'm a good communicator. So yeah, things are bad right now. And after scrolling through Reddit and Instagram in my depressive state, wondering why my life is like this, I realized that I'm actually not alone in this boat. It seems like everybody just about anywhere is struggling to find a job, especially in America. Specifically talking about America, because I'm American. And I'm wondering, like many of you are probably, why is that? Why is it so incredibly difficultly, exponentially hard to find anything nowadays? Is it because we as a collective are just not good enough to be potential employees? Are we doing something wrong? Are our degrees not enough? Is it the state of the economy? Or is it something deeper? I don't know. I'm just a girl. But this girl wants to dive a little bit deeper into figuring out why all of this mayhem is happening, and maybe even find out what I can do to spare myself from it and finally get a job, because my bank account is screaming right now. And if you want to find the truth too, keep on watching as I spend all day on Google getting to the bottom of this. Let's go. So firstly, I want to talk about the state of things at the moment, because as I already said, it's not looking so good. I've applied to over 100 jobs easily. I don't know the exact number and I'm too lazy to figure it out, and I'm gonna cry if I do. So I'm just gonna say it's over 100, which is not even a crazy amount, because I've seen online that some people have been applying to over 600 jobs and getting the same exact response rate as I'm getting. So it's scary out there. And amidst all of these jobs, in the span of 4 months, I've only gotten 4 responses. All of these jobs I had to do interviews for, and they also had these exams that I had to take. One of these exams was a personality test, and for one of these training programs, I failed at the personality test. I don't know what that means. And I honestly don't want to know what I don't know. And I interviewed for that one job. I did some exams. I did a technical interview, which didn't even include a real human. I had to record myself doing it. They gave me a terrible offer and required me to move across the country. So yeah, things are pretty atrocious right now, but why is that the case? That's what we're here to figure out. And well, let's start from the bare facts. Firstly, I'm sure we're all aware of the fact that there are just many software developers out there and increasing over time. I can't blame people. We're all sheep in the end. We want to jump on the hype train as soon as we see that it's going in a really good direction. But here's the thing. At some point we turn into one of those Indian train situations and it's just not looking good. And that makes sense why people think that the reason that the market is so bad right now is because it's oversaturated with all of these developers trying to get in good on the salary and the benefits and whatever, which is definitely happening. I mean, we all have LinkedIn probably. We see the number of people applying for positions. It's insane. But that turns out is not actually the deeper reason behind this mayhem. It is more so because of the fact that there are so many people, companies are trying very hard to look for the perfect software developer. Now, I can't blame them. We all want the best of the best. We want someone who actually can program versus the person who just went to a good name school and got a degree, which by the way is why your degree in computer science is completely useless nowadays. That's right, while you spend thousands of dollars learning what a linked list's ON time is, this guy over here was making web applications and learning 10 times more practical skills than you ever would in a college classroom. Doesn't that feel great? But here's the thing, is that companies are not actually even looking for this guy. They're looking for someone even better than this guy. So much to the point that there is a word referred to the person they're looking for. The unicorn. They're looking for someone that's so good at their job that they don't even exist in this world. And so because companies are looking for not a good employee, but a best employee, they're actually just swiping away all of these potential workers in search of something that's not even really there. There's a saying that they use where it's like, oh, there's always going to be a better developer. And so all of these good developers are getting shoved to the sidelines in search of this best developer. The other problem is that companies are also trying not to take any chances on making mistakes in who they're hiring, to the point where they're making the job process into a sorting system. They have automated coding tests, technical interview hell, many rounds of interviews, weeks of waiting for responses, en massing resumes, not really filling the jobs, and only accepting senior developers, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. They're taking more and more humans out of the hiring process, and so, I mean, can you imagine all of those thousands of applications a human going through them? No. The many rounds of interviews have actually been creating some discourse among not just companies, but also potential employees. Turns out that according to Google, 4 interviews maximum are enough to have a 86% confidence in hiring an employee. And yet, most of these companies have about 10 rounds of interviews. What? And in doing so, most of these companies are actually making the employees themselves drop out of the process due to disinterest in doing 10 rounds of interviews, like a normal human would feel. But the en massing resumes thing is that they're actually just collecting all of these applications, like you see on LinkedIn, thousands of applications. They're just collecting them, but not really doing anything with them. Yeah, I read about that. They're just keeping storage of all these potential applicants, but not really hiring anyone. And don't even get me started on trying to find an entry-level job right now. I'm sure we all know that most companies are only hiring senior developers. Makes sense. You want people with more experience. You want people who know what they're doing. I can spend all day, all year coding up projects, but it's not going to teach me any corporate skills that they want me to have. Although, according to statistics, most jobs have actually lowered their minimum years of experience requirement from like 5 years down to 2 years. But this 2 years experience gal over here still can't find a job. So thank you, but no thank you. And in fact, not only is all of this threatening you in finding a job, but also in keeping the job. As I said earlier, layoffs are happening. I'm sure we've all heard of these big tech companies laying off thousands and thousands of employees. Some of the reasons are due to the economic state of our country. It just makes sense, as if the country is in a bad state, jobs are in a bad state. Some of these layoffs are happening because they overhired during the pandemic. Turns out actually a lot of these jobs layoffs happened in the HR department versus the software developing department. But that doesn't mean that many software developers did not lose their jobs. And apparently some of them might be doing it because, again, we're all sheep. Monkey see, monkey do. That big company just laid off a bunch of employees and their stocks went up. I'ma do the same fucking thing. All of that being said, does that mean that companies are the ones at fault for making everything crap? Well, let's talk about us as a collective workforce. First things first, let's talk about our favorite job hunting app, LinkedIn. And after doing so much research for this video, I realized that I've been using LinkedIn wrong this entire time. I've been spamming my resume left, right, and center for weeks, completely ignoring the recruiters in my inbox thinking that they were spam, and I've been doing the bare minimum to optimize my profile, which is all the things that you should be doing with LinkedIn. That way you don't have to go and find companies, but the companies will come to you. At least the recruiters will. Recruiters are actually the driving force behind all of LinkedIn's power. There's so much problems with the job listings on LinkedIn, like ghost jobs that appear out of nowhere, I guess. I'm real, but not real. Plus, once again, companies are just amassing your applications without actually sending it anywhere. So what you should be doing instead is trying to communicate with these recruiters. Not like me, I've been letting them rot in my inbox. Now you might be wondering about other job hunting applications, because there's a lot. There's Indeed, there's ZipRecruiter. I don't know any other job applications off the top of my head, but there's a lot. And there's only one word for that: Capitalism. Everybody wants to get in on the hype train, and job recruiting apps are just one of those things. So whatever, you can hate on LinkedIn all of you want, but it's here to stay and it's gonna be here for a while until one of these other job hunting applications just wipes it off the face of the earth. Or AI takes over, I don't know which comes first. But besides LinkedIn, there are other things at play. Firstly, as I said before, a computer science degree means nothing nowadays. I said it, it means absolutely nothing. You spend more time learning about theoretical computer science, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important, don't fight me in the comments. I'm just saying it's not gonna teach me how to build a database. So instead of spending all of that time in college doing God knows what, you should be focusing on making sure that you know how to develop efficient and sophisticated code that is not going to destroy an entire database in one single Git push. Okay, so with all that being said, does that mean it's our fault that we can't get a job? Well, hold up, pause. I haven't even talked about our favorite subject of the day, artificial intelligence, baby. Let's get the obvious out of the way. AI is taking over jobs the same way that automation in the past took over human jobs. It's completely reasonable. This is just how life is. Companies want to cut costs at all costs, and life just keeps evolving in new ways to make things perform faster and faster. All in all, it's not bad. It makes us as a society become more efficient and lets us not have to do the menial, tiny tasks. We can all put that to AI. Statistically speaking, it is predictable that in the future, higher level jobs like engineers, doctors, other things are gonna be more in high demand versus just average level jobs. I don't know what way to describe those types of jobs is. I feel like average is not the right word, but you know what? You know what I mean, those types of jobs. And so in a way, it actually makes sense why the minimum requirement for job experience is as high as it is, because we just expect more out of people now. Because why do you need to fix this little bug when an AI can do it for me a lot quicker and a lot cheaper than a human can? It sounds terrible, but it makes sense. Can you agree with that? Sup, Editing Maria here. I just realized I didn't talk about the negative aspects of AI. All I did was kind of rant about how AI is going to take over many jobs and made it seem like I was a supporter of that. That is not the vibe I was going for, but here we are, I'm going to do it now. So yes, AI is going to take over many jobs, which means that unemployment is going to be a big issue over the next coming years, not just in software development, but in a variety of different fields. Here's a list that I probably am going to find on the internet because I can't think of jobs off the top of my head. Which, as I said, it's going to just force people to have to advance alongside AI to get into positions that AI can't necessarily take over because it's not advanced enough to do so, which is what leads me to say that it's not, in my opinion, going to kill a software developer. There's a lot of evidence out there that points to that being true, mainly because you're going to need someone to keep advancing the AI. Yes, it's going to take over specific positions, but there are some fields that I don't see AI capable of taking over. Specifically, the first thing that pops into my mind is how I don't think healthcare is going to be taken over by AI. Because as much as I would love a robot to tell me that I have cancer and just spit out facts of what I could do about it, I prefer it when I have a human there to provide me with some empathy to that situation. And that's not something AI can do, and not something that I ever wanted to do. I also didn't say a conclusion for all of this evidence I was giving, so I'm gonna say it now. In conclusion, you could say that companies are the bad guys in this situation because they're making the process of applying for a job really hard with all of these different methods. But at the same time, it makes sense as to why they're doing all of this because we ourselves as a population of potential employees are making their lives a little harder. A lot of us are not skilled enough to have this job, and it's just making it harder to find those who are skilled. It's pretty complicated. I know that's not the fun answer. We love to just point fingers at one specific answer, but this is life. There's a lot of gray area everywhere. So yeah. And so basically, to sum it all up, it is what it is. The companies suck, we suck, everything sucks, times are changing, and we just have to adapt to them. And unfortunately, everything's just gonna keep getting worse. Second law of thermodynamics. I think, right? Entropy always increases and never decreases. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So now that we know all this information, what do we do? Do we cry ourselves to sleep every night wondering when, oh when, are we going to get a job? Yes, but after we are done crying, we wipe our tears, get our butts right into our chairs, and start trying to fix things and find these loopholes through the system. First things first is I'm going to work on fixing my LinkedIn because as I found out, I've been doing it wrong this entire time. And really, there isn't much that I have to change. I just have to polish my profile, make it look nice and presentable, and also just adding in more skills and work experience and making myself look nice. You know, people just need to read 3 seconds of my profile or see 3 seconds of my profile and be like, I want her. Let me send her a DM. Is that what it's called in DM? Is that it? LinkedIn DMs? Now, other than my LinkedIn, I have to fix my resume because that's also very important. Now, here is what my resume kind of looks like. It's colorful because a software developer, a senior software developer told me that I should add in color because I am young. I don't know what that means. Nowadays, I'm seeing that everyone is dead inside and we all just want monotone black and white. And so I'm also gonna do monotone black and white. I'm not gonna show you how I do that because sensitive information, but that's the first step. And the second step is I saw this article as I was looking for research material for this web video, and this article talked about how this guy had a really cool resume and he got a super cool job offer. Now, I'm ignoring the job offer thing because it's making me sad, but his resume did indeed look really nice, and it was just simple. That's what I liked about it. It was so simple. He had his name, he had his GitHub. No phone number, no email, no nothing that I see on all of these resumes, just his GitHub. And then work experience, side projects, skills, and education. That is it. Beautiful. It brought tears to my eyes. I was like, what have I been doing this entire time? Why did it? So yeah, I'm going to copy this idea and make my resume look like this. But here's the thing, is see he has like this really nice side project section. I don't have that. Yeah, I looked through my GitHub, I looked through my side projects. They're not presentable. So I need to work on some really good side projects, but that's gonna take a bit of time. And so the last thing I wanna recommend is some freelance work. Now I know everyone says this, find some freelance work, do some programming on the side, but where do you find this? I'm sure none of you know. First thing, actually ask around. Maybe someone wants you to do something for them. Maybe someone's gonna pay you to do something for them. That's always a way to get started. It gives you ideas if you have none yourself. Now, if you don't have anyone you could ask, I suggest looking at some websites, specifically this one website called Upwork.com. It's basically just freelance work. You make your own little profile and then you look around for jobs, you apply to them. If the person says, yeah, hey, here's the money I'm gonna pay you, do this job for me, and you get paid. Not a lot of money, but money is money, my friend. In this economy, I will take anything I can get. It's really all you can do is program, apply, and wait. We just have to hope that maybe it will get better, maybe it will get worse. Nonetheless, you just have to keep on trying. Giving up is not an option here. And I don't want this video to scare off any new software developers. Yes, this is tough times, tough world we're living in, but if you really like to program, don't let the fact that it is hard to find a job right now stop you. It all sounds obvious when I'm saying it out loud, but maybe someone needed to hear that. So yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I don't know what's gonna come first at this point, me becoming a YouTuber or me getting a job. Because so far it's looking like it's swinging in this direction. Join my Discord if you want to talk with other people who watch this video, I guess. I'm gonna go back on LinkedIn like I do every day. Only this time I feel a little bit better about oh my gosh, why did I do that? This time I feel a little bit better about what I'm doing. That is all. Still gonna go cry though, so yeah, bye-bye.